Starting now. Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
This is Kevin and Leif, two shy guys in the mic. I know it's been a while. You're like, where you guys been at? Well, we've been on
hiding in a hole. That's what
hiding in a hole. You know, sometimes our shy levels kind of fluctuate. So sometimes when the stars aren't aligned just right, you know, we go into like super shy mode. But we're good now, so we're in front of you. We want to say that we missed you and we loved you. But today we're going to be talking about how do I know that my idea is a good idea? And, you know, me and Leif are kind of just sitting here talking like, going over some things, kind of collaborating and conversating on what should we be talking about today, given that, you know, we're about personal brand, we're about leveling up, we're about reaching your full potential as fullest the potential that you could possibly reach in this earth. Yeah, fullest stir. You know, we're about getting to the heights, the pinnacle, the peak, about getting in the flow, right?
That's great rap right there.
Oh man, you know, just sometimes the words just be coming to me. But, you know, we were just kind of conversating about, you know, a recent trip. Can I say that? Recent?
Yeah, it's a trip.
A recent, you know, trip venture. And, you know, we were talking about one particular instance, a case in which somebody had an idea and the idea was just knocked down without mercy. You know?
Oh man, it was taken behind the shed and beat to death.
Oh, he was Ghost Recon. You know, it was ugly from the way my man was explaining it to me. It was like one of those scenes from American Idol. You know, he got Simoned.
Oh man, it was worse than that. It was just like, just imagine a shooting range and you like close target with a machine gun.
Oh man. So it just, you know, it got us going along the lines of, you know, we're a personal brand. We're about all this stuff, entrepreneurship, health and wellness and things. Hey Cheryl. Hey Trey. Thanks for joining us. And we were wondering, we were like, so how do you know when your idea is a good idea to pursue or not? How do you know if your idea is a good idea or not?
Yeah, one of the first things that you always have to do is, as early as possible, vet your idea with someone else.
Man.
And not only just someone else, but someone that will be honest. A lot of times, you know, you may go to a friend and be like, hey man, you think this is a good idea? And your friend, you know, they'll, you know, being good to your feelings and those kinds of things. They might say, yeah, that's great, those kinds of things. But the problem is with that is if people aren't paying any money for it, then it doesn't really mean much. You know, Kevin can tell me my idea is good all day. We can sit back and forth in this office, never going outside of the office, talking about how great and wondrous this idea is.
Yeah.
But if you don't take it in front of an audience and get feedback early enough, then you can't really change what's wrong with it. Because a lot of times we get so focused and so caught up on our ideas and our goals that we don't even realize that it's a terrible idea.
Man, yeah, that's just right. And that's one of the things that I learned from talking to you and then listening to others is that not to get so caught up thinking that what I have as far as a product or service or something to offer is so good that I try to force or I try to manipulate and push that idea out. But what one of the things I've learned to do with some of my past ventures is to take something while it's in its roughest form.
Yep.
And my thing is, if I can't make $1 from this idea, then it ain't no point me pursuing it. A few years ago, I got the idea of buying bulk black soap, African black soap. You know, I was like, let's buy some African black soap, some shea butter, and see if this thing works. So, you know, I brought some bulk African black soap. I found a wholesaler, vetted it, everything was good. And then I got like a website. I went through Shopify. They give you like 2 weeks free. I set it up. I set up all the channels, which took me a few hours. And then I sold the product through Pinterest. So I was like, okay, if I could make a few dollars doing this, then there might be something there. So it's just, so the idea of, say, seeing a trend, something that was trickling up as far as the trend of the move towards natural products in the health and wellness space, which is a space that I operate in, and that's my home. I said, let me try. I see this. Let me try it. It might try to pursue, but let's try it for me. And it was just that simple. I mean,
I'll give you a bad side of that, right? So a few years back,
I need somebody like so now. See?
Yeah. So a few years back, myself and Lamar and another guy named John, we did this thing called FIFA, which was a game idea, right?
Yeah.
And we had all of these grand ideas. However, we never left our office.
Yeah.
So we started iterating and planning and all of these things. And not once did we talk to a customer after about 4 or 5 months of development. So fast forward to that 4 or 5 months, we go out to try to sell it. We couldn't even pay people to use it.
Wow.
Because what we failed to realize is that, one of the guys on the team was a game developer. However, people were happy with the way they were making money.
Yeah.
So we were talking to the wrong audience, which is another step in figuring out if your idea is a good one. Talk to the intended audience. We were talking to a variety of people. They were like, man, that's a great idea. They were giving us honest feedback. However, they were not our target audience. Because once we reached out to our target audience, we realized that they were happy monetizing the way they were because they were making good money. They didn't see a need to go a step further to make just a few more dollars, meaning that they were already making dollars as it was. So needless to say, we had to close that down after about a year and a half working on the product. So that's one thing that I learned super early after going through that. Every time we have an idea, we get it out to market as quick as possible. We talk to the potential targeted audience before we start building or ideating on anything.
Which goes against natural instinct, right? Because I've fallen victim to what they say analysis paralysis, where you analyze every aspect of an idea to the point to where you really don't even make any moves on it. And Cheryl says, I miss out on penguins. I have collected penguins for 35 years. I had an idea on launching children books, videos, brand penguins with a certain name, stuffed penguins. Life happened. I didn't do it. Oh, wow, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
It's all like a
decent
idea.
Didn't do it, and then the March of the Penguins came out. People bought penguin everything, and she missed
That's
out.
right. Yeah, because I remember there was a whole trend of penguins and stuff.
That was around the time my children were being born, because I remember being in the hospital watching it. Yeah, and that's something else, Cheryl. You have to get it out there early enough, because one thing what it'll do, if you do have a great idea, it'll give you momentum to keep going and pushing forward and pushing harder.
Yeah.
Because if you just sit on it, you just sit on these ideas, too many times people want to get afraid of telling their idea to the next person, right?
Yeah.
They it's like, you want to just hold it and keep it a secret, like Precious, with Smeagol, what's his name? Yeah. Precious, you want to hold your idea and, your baby. However, if you don't get your baby vetted by other people, if you don't get it out there, if somebody tries to take it, who cares? I mean, it's your idea, the entire concept. What's in your mind's eye is not necessarily something you can always explain. So don't even worry about somebody trying to steal your idea or anything like that, unless of course they got millions of dollars behind them, and then they could just straight rip you. However, most of the time, the people you're telling don't have that kind of revenue, don't have that kind of money, and they don't have that kind of time.
And they don't have that kind of insight. They don't have that kind of passion or desire to push that idea.
So that's the thing. So don't be afraid to let your ideas out there. That's one of the things after that whole game idea went through. We started getting our ideas out early enough. We started telling as many people as possible, and specifically we started telling our targeted audience to see if this was something they would pay money for.
Yeah. Hey, good evening, Wakita. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, just talking about getting your idea out there early. That's one way. That's a simple way to know whether you have a good idea and something that's worthwhile putting your life force, your energy into, versus, I don't know, maybe I don't think this is going to work. So quite simply, just being brave enough just to take.
And I got one for you as well. So what do you do if your idea takes time to figure it out? How do you get your idea out there early?
You just push it out there.
How?
In whatever way, means, shape, or form that you can, whether it be harnessing the power of social media and just having a conversation. Just stay on Facebook. I've put out, just simple posts like, who out there needs a window washer or something.
Right.
Something that's simple, and you'll be surprised at the people that will inbox you and just want to develop the conversation even further. So that's how you know if somebody's willing to give up a dollar for whatever I'm offering, then it's worth something to pursue, to develop and see how it develops in a way, shape, or form that can hopefully be something that you can use to sustain yourself, maintain, build upon, and grow upon. That's more in line with your calling.
Okay, Bilal said something, and I'll get to your question, John. Said, what about protecting an idea? I've had several ideas, told someone and see someone else do it before I could. Well, if it was that easy for them to get started in the idea, then you should have been doing it before them. That's one thing that we're talking about as well. So you have a variety of ideas, right? I remember reading this years ago in a book called 37 Signals. It was like a bad idea is worth $0, a great idea is worth $1,000. Right? Just 1,000. However, great execution on $1,000 idea can be worth millions.
Yeah.
So in that frame, if it's something like, for example, he talked about black soap. He talked about ordering. That was something simple that he had to do. He didn't really have to go through. He didn't have to build anything. He didn't have to worry about coming up with these concepts. He's like, okay, I know it's selling. I'm going to buy some and I'm going to resell it.
And the thing about it is, there's hundreds of thousands of other people that's been doing black soap. So it's don't worry about protecting an idea or somebody else, stealing it or using it.
Yeah, and even going back to what you were saying, it's like if somebody else does it, who cares?
Yeah.
It's no big deal, right? Yeah, great execution is everything.
It's everything.
So even if I tell, like, for example, I know Kevin doesn't do art, right? I tell Kevin about an art idea I have, and he tries to do it. So what? I'll just make sure that I execute better than he does. And also, people have to realize that there are more than one market for anything.
Yeah.
So if you're so focused on your small market that if somebody takes your idea and you couldn't do it, then the idea wasn't big enough to begin with. And so that's something else that you have to come to realize is through research. It's like if your idea fizzles out after 100 people, then it wasn't worth really pursuing in the grand scheme of things. So you have to understand who your target audience is, how big that target audience is, and whether or not they can sustain you. Some things are side projects. Some things are like life goal projects. Right?
Yeah.
So if your life goal project can be executed by somebody just after a conversation, then it really wasn't a big idea to begin with. And you have to figure out how to mold and go beyond just that simplistic idea and make it to something that's grand. Cheryl, she said, it pays to be in the company of other entrepreneurs.
Yes, that is definitely key to know whether your idea is something worthwhile and like to be vetted by other people, maybe even collaborated and some things shaped with. That's the reason why mastermind groups are such a big thing now. And that entrepreneurs are purposely getting together to vet ideas, but also once one is chosen to help hold each other in accountable and help each other kind of shape and adjust and grow along the path that they have chosen.
Yeah, and for us, one of the things that we did earlier, we were able to benefit from a group of local entrepreneurs where we live. When we started the game idea, and it was called Critique Aid, and what they would do is gather different entrepreneurs around the city, and we would go pitch the idea, and they would give us feedback. While we were getting great feedback from them, we still failed to hit our target audience. Also, I've had I'm losing my words here. I've had I've been able to be in a variety of different entrepreneur type groups. We had one over off of Georgetown Street here locally. We called it the Ignite Project, where we allowed co-collaboration space that we started. We really started it with no money. We allowed people to come work out of our office for free. And during that time, we had a lot of energy coming in and out. We had developers, we had exercise science people, we had photographers, we had a variety of people that would come in and out of the office, and we would just vet ideas all day. Of course, you got to do a lot of work. You can't just talk about ideas.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of work, and I also had the pleasure, the honor of being in probably, I want to say about 4 or 5 accelerators. Business accelerators, where you are again coupled around a lot of entrepreneurs. You see a lot of ideas going back and forth, and it actually helps you refine your concepts and also see what's going on in the market through other people's companies.
Man, yeah, that's what Cheryl talks about. It pays to be in the company of other entrepreneurs, and just kind of echoing what you're saying is. I know about this from personal experience in that, I am introverted, highly introverted, but whenever I stop by the office with you and then with other people here, Lamar, it definitely raises the energy level and it raises my awareness level. It raises all, my emotional state, because I start to resonate with other people and the vibe that's set in the office. So one of the big things that you'll hear, one of the big themes that you'll hear for the year in the entrepreneurial space is the idea of collaboration and conversation, and how important it is now that if you want to go far in whatever endeavor that you choose, you must get with the tribe. You must start collaborating. And for me, this has been one of the big hurdles as far as looking out over the horizon and understanding with crystal clarity that you must have a team or a group that you run with. It's like being in prison, the prison of the United States. You ain't gonna survive too long by yourself, bro. You better get with a clique. You better get with the gang, right?
Yeah, and that definitely helps. Again, is just vetting ideas, bouncing ideas off of one another. And also it helps give you confidence to go to pursue other markets and things like that you may not have enough experience with. John said, when you say push out there, you mean push it out once you have somewhat of a plan established, right? Well, it depends. It depends. Like for me, everything that most of the stuff that I do is revolve around software, and what you have to do is develop what's called an MVP, a minimal viable product.
Yeah.
And basically,
kind of like a prototype.
Yeah, it's not even a prototype. For example, I guess it could be a low-level prototype. So if I'm developing software, say that I have an app idea, and I have this idea that when this app that brings a bus to my house, right? Say that's the concept. So what I would do is just do a sketch on a piece of paper and go talk to strangers. Go talk to people that may be sitting on a bus stop and just have them look at the sketch and be like, would this be of value to you?
Yep.
You start vetting those ideas. It's like, and then ask them how much they would pay to use a service like that. Or maybe you don't have a paid service, but you need to see if people gravitate to the concept early on. And again, make it people that you don't know. And because if you're asking them about something, you don't necessarily have to tell them that it's yours. If you tell them that you're vetting it for somebody else, then they'll give you more honest feedback. Because a lot of times if people give you like a false sense of security around your concept, then that's a detriment to you in the long run, because you may go full force into something that is not even worth doing. So you start vetting that concept with people very early on, and also one of the benefits of being around entrepreneurs is especially seasoned entrepreneurs. People early on, sometimes it helps as well, but people that are seasoned, they know what works in the marketplace. They can give you feedback on if they've seen it before. I know for us, when we had the Ignite project, and even now, because a lot of people know us for doing a lot of business, people come to us with ideas, and we'll give them feedback quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I'm 100% honest, and I'm brutal if I need to be, because I'd rather save somebody a lot of time than have them pursue something that has already been proven in the market to be a bad idea.
Yeah, and just to kind of, again, one example that I've heard, I know this principle to be true, is that a while back, years ago, I got the idea of doing a deliver to your door dry cleaning. I saw the trend of that, so I started. If you notice the thing with me seeing trends and jumping on it and trying ideas, I learned, I had to learn the art, or had to cultivate the resilience to just try something and just close my eyes and just step out there and try it and see if it works. And if I fail at it, oh well, life goes on, And one of those was that. But before I did anything, I heard somebody say, "Hey, go out and just ask strangers on the street what you think about this."
Yeah,
so that's what I did.
You gotta get it out there early. It's like, how do you know if you got game? You go talk to a bunch of girls. If you don't get a date, then you have no game.
If you don't get no numbers,
nah,
bro, you gotta take it back to the
shit. Jewel says they find it hard to find other entrepreneurs to commune with. What would I say is a good way to find?
I was about to hit on that
those types of individuals. One is definitely Mixers.
Yes.
Go to Mixers. Go to I don't know what city you're from. Look at startup. Like, I know sometimes they have like startup events, and startup events usually draw a lot of early entrepreneurs. So if you start going to those kinds of events, whether it be the chamber, whether it be like local business groups, expos, maybe, because if they're trying to find people to hang around, try to find things in your city. I know before we talked about meetups. Start looking at meetups, and chances are on meetup.com, if you look up like whatever idea that you have around entrepreneurship, look that up and see if there's a group meeting. That's one way to start. Sometimes it's just a matter of cultivating your own kind of group, talking to people, because if you start getting your idea out there enough, you'll start running into people that are kind of doing the same thing. So that actually helps bring people in. I'm trying to think of, like for us, when we started the Ignite project, which was a work collaboration space, we just started talking to people, and it's like, we have a space open. If you need an office, come over here. So that was one way that we started getting people in. And again, you just have to, be willing to talk to people. If they go to local businesses, talk to the business owners. There's all kinds of people that meet on a regular basis in your city that you probably see every day and have no idea what they're doing.
Yep, they're exactly right. Because I can remember when I used to run a route for a local company. One of the things about it, one of the things about it was that at certain spots, I would see business people get together every, say, Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. at a Panera Bread or Starbucks. So just finding those little niche communities, that's one way. Another way is leveraging these social platforms like LinkedIn, like Facebook, and just leveraging and going in and looking at some of these groups, and then learning how to work in these groups and network in these groups. And then if you want, you can bring it to the real world. But it's so easy now. You said that somebody made a statement that if you can't make money, or if you can't pursue your entrepreneurial journey or pursuit in today's time, you might want to think about something else.
Yeah, that was Gary Vee at the event that we went to, Gary Vaynerchuk. He said that now is probably one of the easiest times in history to make money. So if you find yourself not being able to make money during this time, then you may not be cut out to be an entrepreneur. Which is it's a harsh statement. But it may be true, because a lot of times one of the things that they prevent people from making money is the very thing that prevents most businesses from making money, and that's being able to sell. And that's being able to, and not only from the standpoint of having something that's good to sell, but getting over the fear of actually going out to sell it.
Man, that's a good point, getting over the fear of having to sell it. And I learned this when I joined a multi-level marketing group. And say what you want about, there's some good things and some, not so good things about them. But one of the things that I would push anybody to, if they're considering that, is to look at the education and the cultivation that you get just from by meeting with a group of entrepreneurs on a weekly or on a frequent basis, and that the whole educational part is developing your skills as far as being a salesperson, salesman, or saleswoman, and learning how to be a person with good leadership skills, learning how to cultivate that inner resilience of getting those 10 no's in your face just to get that one yes.
I got a real simple one. If you go to a church at all, go out and pass tracts.
Pass tracts.
Go tell somebody about the gospel. And if you can do that, then you're definitely equipped to be able to go out and make a sale.
Yeah.
Do sales because those things get real personal, right? And you're bound to get a lot of rejection from the jump. And if you can overcome that fear of talking to somebody about something that's personal to you, then you can overcome the fear of talking about something that is personal, whether it be your business idea or whether it be a product that you believe in. So being able to do that is very beneficial. I know when I was in college, I went to like Black Beach Week. Just think about this. We were at Black Beach Week passing out gospel tracts. If you know anything about Black Beach Week, it was definitely a place where people wanted to put a church on the back shelf. So doing those kinds of things actually help cultivate my resilience and being able to go talk to people, even though by nature I am a shy person. It helps those little milestones help you overcome the fear of interacting with people.
Yeah, most definitely. Just putting yourself out there and learning how to just let go, let things go. You know, I was that's another topic that we're going to probably talk about here later on down the road is learning how just to let the dogs loose.
I don't know what that means.
That means no holding back. It means pushing the pedal to the metal and just letting the chains go. Like I was at my son's football game, and you know my son was doing something, and this guy was like, "Yeah, man, it's what you gotta do, man. Sometimes you just gotta let them loose, man. Let the chains loose on them. Just wake up and just let it go." So some days you just gotta just wake up and just be like, you know what? There's only one way through this thing, this thing called life. Yep. So you might as well go for what you can and go for what's been placed in you. As far as the ideas that you get, you don't just get a lot of ideas by happenstance. A lot of these things are placed in you for a reason because they're meant for you to pursue. And this is kind of transitioning into another topic just in case my man has to leave, but it speaks to the importance of making sure that we cultivate that quiet time, that time in which you get little moments to yourself to reflect and to think about what it is that you want to do and pursue while you meet the demands and obligations and responsibilities that's required of all of us being adults and adulting in this world.
Yeah, one thing I want to say before I head out, I got to leave here in a second, is because I think about this on a regular basis, and I've been thinking about it lately over the past few days, is that life is really very short.
It is.
It's extremely short, especially when you start thinking about time and how fast and quickly time passes by. So if you do have an idea, if you do have dreams of becoming something or becoming X, Y, Z, or if you have things that you would like to do or accomplish in this world, you have to go get it. You have to think about how you're going to pursue those things, because again, this is not a test drive. This is the real deal. If you only have this last opportunity to do something. I know my wife talks about it all the time with her mother before she passed. She had an idea of what her dream job would be, but she never pursued it, only to find out that probably a week before she died that she could have had it all along.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was right there. It was like reaching for it, but she never reached for it to where she could have had it. Who knows how that would have changed her mindset or anything in her last few days. So if you have something that's, like you said, a burning desire that's in you, something that you would like to do, if you have an idea that you think is a good one, it may or may not be, pursue it and find out soon. Yeah. Because guess what? The same way you formulated that original idea, there are more ideas within you. And the more ideas you start cultivating, the more ideas you can generate. But again, it's not in the idea and it's in and of itself. It's in the execution of that idea. So figure out what it's going to take for you to execute on your dreams in this short time that